Hello and welcome back to another edition of Map Breakdown. I'm Mono and today I'll be talking about HURTGEN Forest. This, I think, is one of the most stressful and intense maps in the entire game. It combines both, the general I got shot and I don't know from where of forest maps, but it also has this ravine or creek or whatever, this river that cuts across the middle of the map and creates this very interesting scenario where you can get shot from all the way on one hill all the way down to the other one. So yeah, this can be a very intense map, to play. I've had some matches here where it's been basically an hour and 15 minutes of fighting over this middle sector. So yeah, that's basically what you want out of the maps, right? It provides some very interesting matches. So I'll be talking about the map using the admin camera, using StratSketch as always, focusing on the 3 middle points. So let's get down to it on StratSketch, talk about the possible points and how to actually play them. Alright, as always, I want to remind people of the 4 capable sectors for each of these strong points. If there's any new players out there that maybe don't know this, these 4 count towards, the cap weight. If you're here, you're capping Siegfried, basically. Yeah, remember that, guys. All right, let's start at the north on North Pass. Scar and Siegfried Line are fairly similar, but North Pass is quite different from both of them. So yeah, let's talk about North Pass first, and then we'll move on to the other ones. Now, North Pass has quite an interesting layout. This area to the south here, this side right here is quite elevated and overlooks basically all of this. But also on the allied side, you have this area right here, which also overlooks all of this and allows for some good shots and for some great positioning of AT guns and tanks, which I will go over later. But yeah, now key areas in North Pass are the bridge, of course, which is right here. But you can also go across the river. If you jump off the bridge and jump here, there's a spot here where if you time your jump correctly, you can also make it across. I believe that's the case here as well. Yeah, for sure. You can go across here. And just to talk about this right now, you can go across all this area right here. Pretty much all of this and all of this as well. So yeah, plenty of places that you can go across, but not as many on North Pass as on the rest of the map. So controlling the bridge or North Pass is a top priority. Now, there's a couple of ways to do that. You can take control of this broken down building that's right here on this side. We'll take a look at that in the game right now in a few seconds. And there's also this area right here, which is fairly elevated, and you can hide some garrisons here, no problem. You can get a tank here shooting down onto the town. All right, let's go take a look at this in the game. All right, so this is North Pass. And just, quick reference here, there's a rat, which is one of those concept German tanks. Yeah, there's a little Easter egg hidden here if you haven't noticed. There it is. You can't actually get to it because the map, ends, the border of the map is closer than the tank. This town area provides a lot of cover for the allies to be able to push, but the strong point is on the other side, so you do want to control this bridge. Now, this building right here is pretty key in terms of doing that, because it does provide, some cover and the ability to basically set an MG here, which most likely you'll get wrecked, but you can get some shots in onto this side. This is the hillside that I was talking about earlier. Now, this seems like a fairly open area, but look here, you can set up a garrison right here that's not going to be under fire from the town. You can set your OPs there, but you also want to control that side if you want to also hold this side. So you need to control the high ground here to be able to, basically trickle down effectively onto North Pass. And I think one of the key aspects in this map is to be extremely aware of enemy airheads, because one of the easiest ways to get around and cross this river is to actually never cross it and just spawn on the other side. So both red zone garrisons and airheads, I think, are extremely important in this map, and I'll talk about that in detail further down when I talk about the other middle points. Now, this area right here for the Germans, there's a lot of barbed wire that you cannot go across here, so you need to be aware of that. You cannot go across this entire area here, so you're either going to cross through there, or further here, making it a very, let's say, narrow way to attack onto North Pass, because you are limited to basically this side, and you can't really go back. There's also no cover coming from the hill, really, which makes it, a bit harder, I think, for the Germans than the Allies, which have a lot more cover on their side. Now, from the German side, there's a lot of positions that you can choose, that you can pick here with your MG and just, provide some really great suppressive fire onto the North Pass area. All the way from here, from these trenches right here, there's a lot of different fortifications here that provide really good firing angles. Now, one of the key areas to attack North Pass, I would say, is controlling this side. This part right here, this broken bridge, has this depression right here, which makes it very easy for, again, an airhead or a red zone garrison to be placed around here, and for it not to be seen from over on the German side, from the guys over at North Pass. So you can get on here, then go across here, get behind whatever German garrison they are going to have around here, and start pouring in to North Pass from this area, and basically getting in from behind. Now, the way you do that is obviously crossing from the south side and going all the way across. We'll talk about that more using StratSketch in a second. As allies, it is crucial that you get a garrison around this forest area that enables you to keep the pressure onto North Pass, keep trickling down, and any tanks and AT guns that you can position, you want to position them on the hill, overlooking. This is a great spot for an AT gun. There's a couple of spots here where you can put one down that makes it really hard to get seen from the other side. And look at this right here. You can shoot down on the bridge, no problem. You can shoot on the left side there. If you have an officer spotting for you with the binoculars, yeah, this is one of the greatest things I think about this map, is using the tanks in these positions, using AT guns also to, take care of the tanks on the other side of the hill as well. Yeah, that is, I think, one of the, great interesting sides of this map. So let's go over to StratSketch for a second. All right, rounding off the North Pass discussion, I was saying that one of the best things that you can do as either the Germans or the Allies is go across here, right? You want to do this, basically. You want to set up a garrison. Garrison placements are going to be around here, maybe one around here somewhere. Germans are going to have maybe one here. So if you see a truck here, they probably have a garrison right behind these buildings, but they will also be able to put one down around this area. Once the sector is capped, you can expect garrisons here or here in the factory area, behind the factory, and also some across on this, these trenches that I was overlooking earlier. Those are going to be general garrison locations. Now, as I was saying, you always want to flank in this game. So yeah, flanking in North Pass basically involves doing this, right? The problem, however, is airheads. Be aware for airheads. If I were commander, I would drop an airhead around this area and just enable here, maybe, drop supplies for red zone garrison around here. That's going to allow our guys to flank. Same goes for the other side, because once the enemy gets behind you with an airhead in this map, it becomes nearly impossible to be able to counter them. If this is, I think, one of the biggest mistakes people make when playing HURTGEN. If you're all around So if you're all focused around this area, and the enemy has a garrison or has presses around here, and they then start coming around from here and destroy your spawn garrison, that's going to be extremely, extremely hard to recover from. So one of the key aspects of this map, and yeah, I think of this map more than in other maps, is always having garrison presence on both sides of the river. Whether it be a red zone garrison, you know, if you have the middle area, then great. If not, you want to build red zone garrisons. So let's talk about the other points now. As I said before, Scar and Siegfried are very similar. But let's say the enemy has control of, you know, Scar, this middle area, right? So they're going to push. They're going to start, and let's say the next point is, whatever, the ruin. They're going to start to push to trickle down onto ruin, you know, from Scar, like using the areas that you can go across, maybe drop an airhead and stuff like that. So what you want to do in all of these areas is try and flank, have at least one squad doing this, try and flank all across, let's use another color for this, all across from here, for example, and drop a red zone garrison somewhere that's far away enough that it's always going to be available. So you want to put it, you know, around these areas. Maybe put one, you want to be on the other side. So don't put it here, you know, don't put one, I don't know, here. That's not what you want to do. You want to get around the enemy because crossing this area is extremely hard. So once you do that, make sure that you have a sustained presence there by using as many red zone garrisons as you possibly can, because it's going to be much easier to attack Scar from over here than it is from over here, right? And that applies to every single one of the strong points in the middle sector. Same goes for North Pass. If you got North Pass, you want to put a red zone garrison around here and attack from this side already, so you don't have to go across and expose your squad and your team to fire, you know, and not only firing from the hills, but also getting spotted and, you know, the enemy basically knowing what you're doing. So yeah, extremely important to be able to flank, get in position, build a red zone garrison, and not have to cross the river again, while you have, you know, the rest of the team, for example, on ruins. We actually have to talk about ruins, and we have to talk about Hill 15, because they are very interesting points. But yeah, you have your garrison there, you're going to be pouring down here. You know, this is going to be effective at stalling the push from Scar. But, and same goes for the people at Scar pushing onto the other side, onto ruins, for example. You want to do the same. You basically want to flank, you know, get a red zone garrison and continue on from over there. Stuff like this. That is the key to this map, I'd say. Now let's talk about some key areas around Scar and Siegfried, and let's go over to the game to look at that. Alright, so key areas around Scar are, you know, crossing this bridge right here. It's very common to get a tank over there protecting this this crossing, because that's like the northernmost part that you can cross, that is still within the sector. Otherwise, you're going to have to go all the way up to North Pass. Once you get around here, this becomes a very interesting area, because there's some trenches here, you know, makes it great for hiding your OPs and garrisons. This is one of the only pieces of hard cover where you can have a garrison behind here that won't get spotted in from the other side. And same goes for this broken down house here. It's very common to see, you know, people placing their OPs around here, which kind of not makes it the best spot for them, because, you know, once it's very obvious that you're going to use that, people will go hunting for them. And if you have a tank, you want to shoot behind these buildings. This building right here, this building right over there, that bunker, and also there's a building right here. These logs, again, you put a garrison down here, you go across here, you can go across the island, no problem. And the other spot is, there's a house somewhere around here, which I'm not finding. I think that's further south. Yeah, there it is. This is for Siegfried. House right there. You know, again, very obvious location for a garrison. Same goes for these houses and logs right here. Which is why I don't actually like using those locations. I only use them if I have to, and if it's basically the only thing that I have. Now, Scar here is not as densely packed as Siegfried. Siegfried has a lot more cover and a lot more trenches. A lot of people will build a garrison both here and on Siegfried right on the strong point, and the problem with that is that you want to make sure that you have garrisons around, because that garrison's going to get bombing run, and that's going to go down for sure. 100%. It's going to happen every single time that you play this map. If you place a garrison on the strong point in either this or Siegfried, it will get taken down by a bombing run. So I would rather not build one here and just build it slightly off of the sector of the black circle, basically. Build one right here, build one around here, build around here, around the other area, even build one on the island here. That is going to get spotted, but if you can actually like angle it so you get it like here or here, and it's going to make it actually really tough for the enemy to see it. Because look at the, garrisons now have a lower profile, and it's going to make it really hard for it to get spotted. Now, once it does get spotted, it's going to get taken down, no problem. But I'd rather have the garrison here than inside the strong point. It's also going to enable better garrison placement all around. So yeah. Now, key area, especially at the start, is the Germans like going across this area right here, these houses and these logs. Also, that house around there, they offer hard cover, great spots for OPs and garrisons that are going to allow you to keep on trickling down onto the point. So if your allies, look around here. The allies don't have as great cover on the other side. So, mostly they're going to come in from this side on the south. They're either going to cross across, they're going to cross over there and have garrisons or OPs around this area right here, these trenches and stuff, to be able to push onto Scar. And same goes over for the north side on the broken bridge that I was talking about earlier. Now, Siegfried Line is quite similar. As I was saying, it's a bit more, it has a bit more of hard cover, especially on the German side. Allies are going to be trickling in across this bridge and across this southern side. Now, absolutely 100% key area for controlling Siegfried Line is all of this south side right here. This is the best attack side for the allies. If your allies, you want to push all the way through here onto that house right there. This part of the push is going to be really hard because you have a lot of exposed terrain. But trust me, the fighting between this and that forest is insane. It is extremely hard for the Germans to be able to push into that forest because basically the allies have a lot of cover, a lot of different like nooks and crannies that they can shoot from a static position, while the Germans basically have to run for it. So yeah, if you're German, you want to put a garrison around here, ideally, maybe surrounded with some barricades or something, so it has a bit more protection. Ideally, set it inside a bunker. Also, you want to set around here if you can. If you don't like setting it in the house, or if it keeps getting destroyed, you want to set one right here. But you're not going to be able to do that if the team sets one, which for some reason everyone enjoys doing, sets one right here. And again, that's a very obvious location, and it is going to get bombing run. So you are going to lose your garrison here, and it can also get shot from tanks on the other side. So yeah, not the best location for a garrison. Also, you can set it, some people set it right here, which is, I guess, better, but that's also going to get destroyed back to hell with a bombing run. So yeah, once you cap either of these sectors, do not go straight onto the attack. Once you cap Scar or Siegfried, you want to put some pressure on the attack, but it's, again, this map, I think, characterizes itself by having really intense fights for these middle points. So you want to make sure that you take down whatever enemy garrison spawn point is here. And remember, and this is something that I was mentioning earlier, the factory on the south side, which is right here. This is one of the toughest points in the game, I think, because you can get a lot of defenses around this point. You can block this factory off, and it makes it really tough for the enemy to push in. But it also allows for a great starting attack garrison to be able to keep pressure onto Siegfried. You can basically have a nice little garrison there that whenever the garrison that you have around this area gets destroyed, you can just spawn there, run back here, and set it back up. Now, looking over at Strat Sketch for a second, I want to point out something that I like to call defensive airheads. Let's say you have control of this side. You will find it that in some games, the amount of allies trickling in from around this area, as I was mentioning, this south side, is going to be just incredibly hard to repel. The best way of going around eliminating this and getting a foothold on the other side of the map, I've seen commanders, like, if the next point is Caltrail, they will drop an airhead right here around this area or something to get some presses onto Caltrail and start attacking it, for example. The problem with that is that it alleviates your defenses here without taking control, without taking this problem away, right? So I would rather, if I were commander, I would 100% of the time drop an airhead right here. That's going to make it extremely easy for the Germans to attack this garrison, take it out, and then go onto Caltrail from this side. Again, set up a red zone garrison. You can place one in the factory. Hello. You can place one around there and keep your pressure onto Caltrail. Then you can go on this side and attack from there. And same goes, again, for the allies. It's the same way around. If allies control all of this area, it's a bit harder for the Germans on this side, I think. Like, at least that's my experience. But it is not impossible, and you'll see matches again where this middle sector is just incredibly hard to just clear off completely. So if the allies cap all of this, you can expect Germans to be trickling in from Jakobsbarn, which is fairly close. So they will be going over from here, and they will have the high ground. So it is going to make it for a tough fight. As Germans, one of the best things that you can do if you find yourself in this position is drop an airhead on the other side, or get a red zone garrison on the other side. But it is going to be harder, because taking a look at where the strong points are and how this river divides it, the map, you can see it is closer to the Allied side, right? So you won't be able to build any attack garrisons or or stuff on this area, right? So remember the logs that we saw earlier? That's that position right here, and you can build a garrison right there and attack onto Scar from right here. From right here. Once again, a key to this map, and I'm going to repeat it again, is having garrisons on both sides of this river as much as you possibly can. Because crossing the river is extremely, it leaves you extremely exposed. So try as much as you can to always have a presence on both sides. If you're German, you do this. If you're allies, I already talked about it. I know I'm repeating myself, but I really want to hammer that point home about how important that is. Now, the rest of the map, just to talk about it really fast, we talked about Factory here, really great defensive point. Hill 15 is also a great defensive point because it has a lot of exposed terrain around. So if you get a tank onto Hill 15, which is something that you want to do if you're trying to cap North Pass, you can get line of sight onto, you know, a lot of area. Let's take a look at that. Basically, that's what you want to do with tanks in this map. You want to stay hidden inside the forest. Okay, so this is Hill 15. You get a tank here, and you go pew 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 onto North Pass. Do not underestimate the range of a good tanker, because from here you can shoot all the way down to these houses and this area right here where the allies are probably going to be trickling in. And if you have a tank that's shooting you shooting from all the way down on that hill, it's going to be really hard to be able to counteract that. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. Keys to this map is maintaining a presence, maintaining spawn points on both sides of the river so you can counteract enemy airheads and enemy attacks on either side without having to expose yourself and go running all the way back across this river area. That is one of the keys to this map. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's a bit longer than most of the map breakdowns I've done, I think. I'll try to edit it down to something reasonable. But yeah, that's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave me down a comment in the comment section. Let me know what other maps or what other types of videos that you would like me to make. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.